Alright, here we go with another suggestion from the comments. Very clever idea, so I can't take any credit for it. Essentially, what we want to do is get around the mechanics of tiger, parrot. And if you don't know already, putting a tiger behind another tiger doesn't do anything in this game. So putting a parrot behind a tiger doesn't make a lot of sense either, because the parrot will copy the tiger, but then since it is treated by the game engine as a tiger, nothing's going to happen in the battle. So what we want to do is have the parrot copy the tiger, but then somehow end up in a different position in the team so that a different unit can actually benefit from the parrot having the tiger's ability. And that could happen randomly. You know, if you went against a team that had seahorse or eggplant or even hyena, you could end up in a situation where your parrot gets moved. But relying on opposing lineups is a recipe for disaster. You know, you can play for hours and hours and then never see the pet that you want to see on the opposing team. So instead we're going to use the Komodo. And for a long time the Komodo has kind of been a bit of a joke pet. You know, it's tier 6, but it's probably the worst tier 6 scaler by some distance. Maybe that's debatable, I don't know. Maybe Catfish is, in the context of customs, maybe Catfish is worst, I don't know. But yeah, Komodo, it's not very good. It means that you have to put it at the back if you want to get the full benefit from it. It will buff the friends in front, +1/1, and then it will shuffle their position. So that means that stacking multiple Komodos is, you know, every extra Komodo you add is less beneficial than the last, which is part of the reason why people don't take it. They're just much more likely to take T-Rex, where you can, you know, have as many as you want and there's no real disadvantage. So for now, all we're doing is stacking stats onto the fish. I want to have a unit to swap onto the parrot so that it has a decent starting stat line. I think it's 2 health, which isn't great. Probably going to lose here. You know, anytime you see a frilled dragon summon team relatively early, it's probably going to be an automatic loss because their pack will be set up for, you know, to guarantee that the frilled dragon has all the summons it needs. So now that the owl is level 2, we also get a little bit of extra economy. You know, we'll get 1 gold if we still buy the apple. We'll take the level up here. We get cow, so that's just going to be more stats for the fish. And then I'm going to sell the kiwi and take lemur for the garlic. And since we're on tier 4, I'm just going to buy sell the stoats and hope to hit the crow or the blobfish. Standard practice at this point, and we actually find a second blobfish, so that's ideal. And I guess the problem with this setup is that even though the Komodo gives us what we want in that it's going to randomly shuffle the pets in front, we could actually go the whole game without the Komodo putting the pets in an order where the parrot with the tiger will actually be behind a unit that matters. I guess we can count that when the pets actually come up on screen. But I think here I gave up on the owl. I would rather just have another pet in the team. We do roll double clownfish there, but I'm going to ignore it. And skunk and flea. A little bit kind of anti-synergistic there, having skunk and flea in the same team. Although I guess that's more to do with the propensity for customs players to stack buffs onto one big unit instead of spreading them around. So I'm actually going to pill the blobfish onto the Komodo, and then I think we'll just start scaling the tiger straight away. I could buy sell the stoat to try and find an... actually no, we're on turn 9, so that's not going to help me. Yeah, I think I changed my mind there. But you can see here, you know, we had tiger behind deer, the Komodo shuffles the team, and then we get no benefit from the frog. Elephant blowfish, but I think we are... oh, actually no, we are going to lose. Not very surprising really. I mean, this person here, they play starfish constantly. I guess they don't care about the nerf. Okay, here we go. We get the parrot, we'll swap the stats, and then we can get rid of the fish, which is also a lot of gold. And I think I'm just going to take eagle so that we have something that could potentially be copied, repeated rather. And we need something else. I guess I'll wait for a tier 6, and then we'll take blobfish just in case we get a pill next turn. And yeah, here we go. The parrot gets shuffled behind the tiger, so it's not going to do anything for this particular battle other than kill off the cassowary. In fact, this team actually looks relatively weak, so we're probably going to get away with a win anyway. And we actually get octopus out of the eagle, which would be very nice to get for the parrot to potentially repeat. So since we get the crow, I'm just going to give up on the blobfish, level the eagle, and then now we'll bring in the octopus. So now we have 2 different units that can potentially have their abilities repeated. So Komodo, parrot copies tiger, Komodo shuffles, and now we get parrot behind the eagle. So assuming we get that far in the team, we'll get to see if this actually works. And there you go, it does work. You can have the parrot copy the tiger, and it actually matters in battle. So that's one turn where it's actually worked, but now of course we actually have to move the parrot back behind the tiger every turn to make sure that it gets the copy before the Komodo shuffles it. And this time it gets pushed to the front, so we're not going to get any benefit. In fact, the level 3 skunk means that we got 1 shot, but the rest of their squad, I mean, they have the toad, but not really any way of taking advantage of the toad's ability there. Bit unusual. So level 2 tiger, and now we need to move the parrot again. And the rest of the pets, it doesn't matter the positioning at the start of at the end of the turn, because they're all going to get moved, apart from the Komodo. I do sometimes wonder if Komodo could be changed so that it doesn't have to be at the back. You know, it can shuffle the positions of everything, regardless of position. But yeah, I'm not sure how likely that is to be added to the game, because it would mean that you could then stack Komodos. Shuffling the order is just so painful most of the time, unless you have sort of a scaling team that doesn't really care and doesn't have any actual abilities. I think also you could probably add a perk that actually prevents a pet from being shuffled. That would be quite interesting to see. And then, you know, there's a little bit more synergy and sort of counterplay to stuff like seahorse and donkey and so on. So here the parrot ends up shuffled back behind the tiger, so we don't get any benefit. However, the tiger is of course going to repeat the octopus's ability after repeating the eagle's. So very quickly we're on to 9 wins, and the parrot ended up behind the tiger, so we don't have to move them this turn. But I think we've had at least 2 turns here where the parrot did end up behind a pet that could have its ability repeated. And this time it ends up behind the octopus, although it is only level 1, so we're only going to get 1 extra shot. But the parrot with melon trades with the bison, the tiger's going to take care of the leech, and they actually ended up with the blobfish at the back with nothing to buff. So yes, indeed, it does work. Thank you very much for the suggestion. I can't remember who it was, but very good idea. And I always like using Komodo, and it's a bonus when it actually makes a difference for the build.